Well, it says I'm live, and I understand that there's a little bit of a delay, so I'm going to goof off just for a minute and see what all's going on. Not a whole lot. I am live. Let's see. Does Facebook know I'm live? I don't know that Facebook knows I'm live, even though it's supposed to. Let's see. Ooh. That should be, I should be live. You guys should be seeing this. And I don't know that you are. I don't see anything that tells anyone that Robin is live. But we will try to fix this. I think that's the right thing there. Oh, it may not work there. Okay. Well, let's see. I don't. Oh, there it is. Good. Yay. Yay. Now, let me get this public. Scripted for anyone who wishes to join it. Oops. Sorry. I am trying to get this set up because sometimes Facebook, so people will be watching it and they'll comment and I'll never see the comment. And then when I get finished with the stream, the live stream, and I go into Facebook, I see that people have commented and I never did know it. And it's very frustrating for me because I'm not seeing the comments. And then it's very frustrating for the other person because why should they comment if I can't see it? So let's see. Oh, here's it's not directed to me. Somebody says, well, it's actually to a man. Tim says, I stopped wearing my wedding ring in the oil patch and was never comfortable wearing. It's a handyman. So my wonderful wife surprised me with a seriously cool and comfortable silicone ring. Mr. Holstein wears one. So we have this, it's a silicone wedding band is what he's talking about. And I think they were originally set up for people who are into hardcore sports, so they don't lose their expensive jewelry. And we had a set of them, and we wear them. Wayne wears his all the time, so that he doesn't have to worry that way if he gets his hand caught at work and the ring won't cut his finger off, the ring will tear before it cuts his finger off. So it's kind of like having, I took a lot of teasing when we first got him and I started wearing it. People would say you're wearing a silicone washer, but it doesn't matter. I tend to wear real jewelry now. When I wear it around the house, I don't wear it so much because I've got my hands in a lot of, dish soap and cleaning solutions and stuff, and I don't wear them around the house. But then if I go out, I put them on. I had a ring many years ago when I was first married, and I was living in Texas and working at Wendy's actually, and I was working in the back. Not all the time. I worked the cash register, but every so often you have to work different stations, and I was cleaning up and had my hands in a lot of bleach water and detergent and stuff. And my ring cracked, and I took it to a jewelry store to have it repaired. And the guy asked me about wearing it when I was, had my hands in a lot of detergents, because those are harsher detergents than what you use at home. Usually, well, they used to be. I guess they still are. And he said, "Don't do that, because it weakens the metal and everything." And of course, I was, 17, and I'm not going to take my ring off. I'm never going to take my ring off. Well, I've been, um, since Wayne and I got married, we've been married coming up on 22 years, and it's okay. I do take my jewelry off. If I want to get sentimental, he can put it back on for me. But yeah, we're good. We're good. Mr. Holstein and I, no problems there. Well, let's see. Do I have? I don't have anything going on right there today. Oh, let me do this the right way. Hey, this is Robin. And this is Friday the 13th, and it's an unscripted live that I will put up on the podcast here in a little bit. It's 10 minutes after 10. I should have started this 10 minutes ago. I got behind because I was in a chat, and I was trying to put together some can holders. I ordered the dog food cans. I've been getting the dog food and the cat food, the canned cat food and dog food in bulk from Chewy. Because I can't always get it at the local shops, at Walmart or at Tractor Supply. So I've been ordering it from Chewy, and it comes in, and I get like 2 cases of dog food and 2 cases of cat food, and I'm stacking them in their boxes, and then I'm having to dig through the boxes and resort all the time, constantly touching them. And I just decided I'd had enough. It's time to get can sorter. And I don't have the one with the cat food on it, but you order them. I hate paying China for anything. I really do. But these, I haven't seen these out anywhere else. I've been trying to keep an eye out, and I haven't seen them. I wanted the metal ones, not the plastic, because I am terrible with breaking plastic shelving and stuff like that. And apologize for my throat. It's allergy-ish today for some reason. So I ordered these metal ones, and they're probably lead-based. I mean, who knows? But it's just to hold the cans, and you have to put them together yourself. Well, you think, "Oh, it's no problem." Well, I've put them together and taken them apart 4 or 5 different times so far, because they're the differences. Well, hang on. You'll hear this crash. But so this is one of them. And the metal's not, I don't know, maybe half an inch. I don't know. And it's got these screws, and the screws, go in these posts that for the ramp. So I wish I had something handy. I could put that. I should plan these things out a little better. Of course, that's why it's unscripted. So you put the first can, this holds about 12. You've put the first can in, or you can start from the bottom really, but the idea is to have your cans lined up, and they'll roll. So first in, first out. And this is the outside. Well, there are 4 parts here, which you wouldn't think would be a big deal, but they're just such subtle differences. If you this piece in the middle has a little lip here. Well, this little lip here stops the can. So this little lip here needs to be flipped around up here. And this end here needs to be facing down. So I'm going to have to take this one apart and flip this middle piece around. So because right now the can will just roll down, and it'll bump this lip and stop. It won't drop to the next row and drop down. Well, I have this bottom piece correct. I don't have this one, so I've got to flip this around, which means I got to take these little tiny screws out, and these little tiny screws use. Daggone, I put it up, didn't I? Oh, well, hang on. I put it down in here because I was afraid I would drop it in the floor. Uses this little Allen wrench that they send with it, which is fine, but you've got to get it back in here, so I've got to take that all apart. And I mean, I've got 2 more with the canned cat food on them back in the stairwell against the wall. But so I got those right, but I got this one wrong. So I have to take it apart, and then I have another one to put together the same way. And they will stack. So I'll have 2, and these little clips here will hold to the top rack of the next one. And in theory, you could stack a bunch of them. I don't know if I want to stack all 4 of them or not. They won't roll. I don't think there's any way to make them roll. No, there's no way to make this one roll to a second one. So they're all going to stop. So you're only going to get 12, but that's all right. And yes, I got that with the Amazon. So let's see what else is going on. I've been in a chat. It's a Liberty Meat chat. I'm going to tell them I'm unscripted till around 11 Eastern Standard Time. Some of these folks are in another country. Some of these folks are in Canada. So I'm live on the YouTube. If anyone wants to hang unscripted today until 11 Eastern Standard Time. So we'll see. Probably won't be anybody hopping in. But the discussion came up. Wait a minute. Let me do this. Let me put a break in here. Let me count down a little bit so that there's some silence so I can start the audio for the podcast, because I'll upload it to the podcast later. Okay, so good morning. This is Robin from Holstein House, from the Holstein House podcast. I'm glad to have you here with me this morning. This is an unscripted live on Friday the 13th, 2023. So I want to welcome everybody who happens to just kind of come in and hop out, come in and hop out if they want to. I've been chatting on Telegram with some folks in the Liberty Meat Chat, which is supposed to be about meat. And I'm finding some great information from the folks in there as they talk about their different recipes and the things that they're into, and where they live and the kind of animals they handle, and the ones that butcher their own and the ones that don't. Some of them just raise animals. So we got to talking about chili. The question came up from Renegade Butcher that, what are you going to do this weekend? Are you cooking anything special? And I said, I'm cooking chili. I think I'll fix a pot of chili and some cornbread. Well, that threw into the mix this insane conversation about chili with beans or without beans. Now, I've heard that conversation before, and it never ends well. And we had someone say that, well, I've opened a can of worms, and I said, I don't. Well, it was Renegade Butcher said, no, have I opened a can of worms? And I said, no, there's no worms in chili. And then there was some conversation about, well, are there beans in chili? And well, worms are technically a meat source. It just really got insane over there. I mean, it was fun, but I didn't want to hijack his thread. I'm bad about that in some situations. Years ago, when I was substituting as a co-host with Jerry Waters on the Jerry Waters program, they had a chat room. He had his own website, and he had built the chat room up, and it was awful. I would get in and unintentionally, but I always say something that causes either an argument or a debate or a discussion, something that ends up hijacking the thread. So if somebody said they were, I don't know, planting roses, and I said, I have a beautiful red rose, it's my favorite, and then it devolved into a discussion about color of roses or something. That's just an example. It didn't really happen that way. But in this case, we got to talking about beans with, or chili with beans and chili without beans, authentic chili versus not an authentic chili. And I'm just of the opinion, if you want beans in your chili, put beans in your chili. It doesn't matter. But it was a fun Letty Lou. Hey Letty Lou. Good to have you here. Chili with beans. I'm chili with beans too. What kind do you only use kidney beans? And if you only use kidney beans, do you only use light kidney beans? Because I've used light kidney beans, I've used dark kidney beans, and I've used pintos. I really like pintos in my chili. And because I will have pintos and like one of the guys said, it's a cheap filler, but still it's good and I like it. I like it very much. So, um, when I used to work at Wendy's, 100 years ago, kidney beans, black beans, pintos, depends on what I've got. Exactly, exactly. I've put black beans into. Have you ever made chili with turkey or chicken? I've made what they called a white chili before. It was a Weight Watchers recipe. It was okay for what it was supposed to be, but it wasn't a favorite. But I've used really any meats that I haven't used pork in chili. I don't know if you would put pork in chili. Some people put sausage in meatloaf. So I guess you could put it in chili, but I don't think I would like that. I forgot what I was going to say. Isn't that awful? It's Friday the 13th. Welcome aboard. Venison chili. Oh, yes, I've used venison. I've used venison. It's been a long time. Yeah. I I will do the entire just my regular chili recipe, whether it's kidney beans or pintos or um I don't use black beans by themselves. If I'm making a mixed bean chili, I will use them, but I won't use them by themselves. But I sometimes will grind turkey, ground and put in there, and sometimes we'll put chicken if I've got it and I need to use it. But this weekend it'll be ground beef. Ground beef, tomato sauce, chili spice. I like a mild salsa, like just a regular jar of salsa, and to put in. I think there's a kick it gives, and I really enjoy that. Uh, and along with the regular chili spices and such things. But I enjoy. I didn't ask the question in in the in the Telegram group because it's more along the lines of a meat group. But I like cornbread, and I'll make cornbread with my to go with the chili. But I put sugar, a little sweetener in my cornbread, and my husband he likes it, um, but he calls it corn cake. He calls it corn cake because there's sugar and eggs in it. And I said, no, 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 it's not right. But I do enjoy that. This time of year, it's really hard on I have sinus allergy issues anyway, but it's really tough on. So I'm in the process of putting these can holders together, and I've got one backwards. I've been ordering my wet food, my wet dog food and cat food from Chewy so that, I can buy it in bulk and it's on automatic delivery. But I'm stacking the boxes up. So I ordered these. I tried to find them around locally and I just couldn't find them. So I went ahead and I ordered these. These are like first in, first out can rollers. And so the idea is the can goes, you stack this up and the cans roll this way. And so you take them out on this end. Well, you would think that this wouldn't be hard to put together, but twice now I have put, not on this particular one because I got 4 altogether. But twice now I have put one of these sections on the wrong way, and this one's on the wrong way. So I don't know if you can tell very well. Let's see. Get on the camera. So right now, the way it's together, if I put a can in here and it rolls, it's going to hit this little lip here and it's going to stop. This little lip here needs to be up here. So now I got to take this apart. And it's not hard, but it's aggravating because these tiny little screws, and where did I just put that Allen wrench? Oh, I'll put it back in this little jar. This tiny little screws, you have to use this dumb little Allen wrench that they send with it, which I'm glad they send it. I probably have a million of them, but I'm glad they send it. And I have to take all of these out. I don't have anything on my screwdrivers that's this tiny and shaped like this anyway. So I'm going to have to take all those out and swap that around. But so that's what I was trying to do while I was involved with the Telegram group. Sorry about this noise. I'm going to put my little screws there. All come out. I don't want them to fall on the floor. I'll never find them. Lydia Lou, what are you doing this weekend? You have big plans? We're not doing a whole lot. The husband's been working. Today's his, I think it's 13th day in a row. He gets the weekend off, but he's been working 10-hour days. And so he'll be chilling. I've been trying to keep things together here. I don't do that very well. Some things I don't do very well. Those comments to some destinations to basement organization and big shopping. Ooh, what are you shopping for? Groceries? I have my pantry, if you want to call it that, downstairs. I can't really call it a pantry because a pantry tends to be a little smaller and you're using it daily. And I've got all of my canned goods and everything downstairs. I don't have room up here. The house square footage totally is awesome, but it's like on 3 levels, a full basement, first floor and second floor. So I don't really have room to keep much up here, and I have to haul stuff up and down. But my canned goods and my supplies are all down in the basement, and they are out of sorts. This is the time of year after the holidays that January tends to be for me catch up, as in catching up, not catch up. I think I slammed that together. But so from at Thanksgiving, you're a week or so before Thanksgiving, you're starting to gear up to feed all the people, right? So you've got your house, you've got your decorations, whatever level you're going to do. You got to put all that out. Then you've got your Thanksgiving. You roll right into Christmas. I put my tree and my decorations up usually the weekend after Christmas. No, the weekend after Thanksgiving. I've got Christmas on the brain. So, Thanksgiving's on Thursday. I try to recover a little bit on Friday, and Saturday and Sunday I'm trying to put my decorations up. And then, it's holiday until Epiphany. Well, I take my trees and my decorations down after Epiphany, but I have to haul them all out to the building, which is fine. But when the weather's bad, I don't want to do it. So, Letty Lou says, gotta pick up another 6 dozen eggs, sandwich bread, and restock in the basement pantry. I don't have to pick up any eggs. My hens, we don't eat a lot at one time. Like maybe I'll make, big casserole or something on the weekends, but through the week he leaves so much early. I usually sell my eggs, and the girls have been on strike up until recently, so I've only just got a couple dozen eggs myself. So we're good with that. I do have a couple dozen downstairs in lime water, and I had some success with that. I need to bring those up and use those, and either get ready to do some more or decide not to. Have you ever tried? Have any of you guys ever tried to lime water your eggs? Well, if you're having to pick them up, then you probably don't have chickens. Liming the eggs, it did turn out. I've got a video, a YouTube on when I took some out and I scrambled them and I ate them and what they tasted like and everything. They were okay. They were very thin. So they weren't like a fresh egg, how the albumin is really, really thick and the egg yolk stands up real tall. These showed, you could tell they had aged. The one on the very top, I didn't even try to use because it did have a scent. It wasn't like an odor, an overpowering odor, but it had a scent of sulfur to it. So I thought, I'm not even going to fool with this. So I went to the next one down. And the next one down was fine. And I've used them since then, and they've been fine. I've cooked with them and everything, and they've been fine. But I've got 2 half-gallon jars of eggs downstairs I need to bring up. They're probably like worth, what are eggs going for at Walmart now? $6 or $7 a dozen, if not more. So let's see. I am going to go over here and look. For those of you guys on Facebook, I'm not sure if your comments are going to show up. If you would say hello, please, and then I will know, please. All right. Because I've had this before where after the live stream and I look at the Facebook and there's comments there from people and I never did see them. They didn't roll through. So I'll try to keep looking. But I was talking about liming eggs. People call it glassing eggs, and I understand that glassing eggs is actually something totally different. But you have to do it with fresh eggs, like within the first day or so that they've been laid. They cannot be washed. When I sell eggs, I wash my eggs. I don't sell eggs that are unwashed. And then I do coat them with a food grade mineral oil, like you use on bamboo board cutting boards, to help seal them back up a little bit, to keep them a little more fresh. Then they go in the refrigerator. I was selling my duck eggs for a long time, and then they decided they were going to be difficult and not lay every day, and so it got to where I didn't have enough to sell all the time. I had really good luck. I am debating on whether to bring some more ducks on this year, and I love them. I love duck eggs, but my husband can't eat them. He gets a stomach ache every time. And I even tried to, like, I made pancakes and put duck eggs in the pancakes, and he was in the other room, so he didn't see me making them. And he complained of a stomach ache later, and I thought, no, he's not faking it. But I enjoy a duck egg. But I was having good luck. Anybody who's thought about raising ducks to sell the eggs, now they don't, of course, it's different breeds, or it's like chickens, different breeds or different layers. They are a stronger flavor egg, and if you're interested in ducks, you might already have them. You may know that. I had good luck selling them to Asians at the nail shops. So where you go and get artificial nails. I don't do that very often, but on occasion, if there's going to be a big event or something, I will go and have my nails done at the shops. And I was talking about having ducks, and they just were like, "Oh, we want to buy the eggs. We want to buy the eggs." And they did. They loved them. I had one person close in a decent walking distance of me that was interested in the duck eggs, and then the folks at the nail shops were really just constantly messaging me asking for duck eggs. So I had a lot of good luck selling those. And then the little rascals are, plus they're a little older. How long have I had those ducks? I don't remember, 3 or 4 years now. And but they stopped laying early. They stopped laying like in, I want to say, October. But I've only got the 2 girls now. I do have a male. He aggravates me to death. But I do want to get a couple more, but it's a commitment. I haven't eaten any of mine yet. But they're all getting old enough now that I probably am looking at that. So we've got, let me see here. Yeah. This time of year is hard. We had the columns out front. Some of you know the columns on the house rotted. I don't think I have an image on here of them that I can share with you. Um, I'm looking, I don't see any that's close that I can share with you. That's not it. That's not it. But we had just the white columns on the front of the house, under the front porch uh, roof. And the hard freeze and thaw that we had, um, excuse me, the hard freeze and thaw that we had, uh, there was a little bit of decay. We knew that. We didn't know how bad it was. And the water seeped into one area, or as far as the best that we can guess, seeped into one area where the screw heads for the rails went. Because this is how, and I wish I could get to that picture to share it with you. Um, the the water got in. Of course, when water freezes, it expands. Well, it expands, and then we had the sudden thaw, so we're froze below zero for a few days at Christmas, and then it thaws out, and the wood around the screws on the handrails just blows out. Let me see if I can download this picture while we're talking and share it with you. So I went out to feed one of the feral cats that we have, that we feed, and daggone it. Why don't you let me download that dumb picture? So when it thawed and the wood had expanded and frozen, and then it thaws out and it contracts again. I went out to feed the cats and looked, and half of the porch rail. So if the porch rail goes to the column this way, this porch rail was sitting, well, no, it was sitting this way a little bit, because where it had attached, it just rotted away, and we had to get it. Darn it. I know I shouldn't be paying attention to this and ignoring you guys. But now now it's a challenge. Now I want to know why I can't download this picture. Um, so we had to call a friend of ours that's a contractor, and I said, can you come over and take out these porch columns? And I said, it's just, we'll go and buy the replacements, but can you put this in? And he said, yeah. So we had to go and get see, now it's killing me because I want to do this and it won't let me. Stop it, Robin. You're supposed to be on talking to these folks. So anyways, we went to the local box home improvement store and bought these 4 columns. But I insisted, I told the husband, I said, we're getting the architectural composites, what they call it. It's plastic, but it's architectural composite that has a steel core. I said, I don't want to have to deal with this rot anymore. So we picked those up. It was an unexpected, highly expensive thing to do. And our contractor friend got those done. Finished them up Tuesday of this week, I think it was. And so now I have to put new handrails out on the front porch. So there's that. So I've got all kinds of these little projects to do, and then just regular life. Let's see. I've got So we've got not I don't have any bookings for the B&B right now because I've got that calendar closed for the rest of this week. So it'll open up next week to give me time to get caught up on the on cleaning and putting all the Christmas stuff away. So I am this the in between time. I also had some of you guys know that I'm a notary public. Um, I also had to renew my notary commission in mid-December, and so that went smoothly with my state. And I contacted National Notary and ordered my stamp because your notaries have a stamp; they got to stamp your stuff. Well, my my stamp was stolen in transit, so I called National Notary and I said, "Hey, what's going on here? I I haven't gotten my notary stamp yet, and I ordered it back in December." And they said, "Well, it was shipped. Here, let me check." And I was on hold about 10 minutes. And they said, "Oh, the box was returned empty." And I said, "What do you mean the box was returned empty? They didn't make the stamp. They just sent an empty box out." She said, "No. Apparently the box was opened and it was returned empty, which means that my notary stamp that had been in there is now missing." And I had to notify my Secretary of State's office. And this is a big deal because notary stamps, notary seals are used on real estate transfer, not just real estate. I mean, there's other stuff too. But notary commission stamps are used on real estate transactions. And if you've got that stamp, you can, in theory, well, probably in practice, uh, fraudulently sign paperwork and steal somebody's real estate. When I do mobile notary work, and Lisa kind of mentioned this when I interviewed Lisa. Um, I do real estate transactions. So people are either maybe buying property, say in Florida. They're buying property in Florida or they're buying property in Tennessee, but they're here in West Virginia and they need some paperwork taken care of. The company they're dealing with, or even if they're refinancing, you see these advertisements for veterans to refinance, and you see the commercials for J.G. Wentworth, get your money now. So they will contact me and say, "Will you do this job? And how much do you charge?" And I will tell them. And then they will ship. I'll work with the individual, say it's you, to set an appointment to come and visit with you, and I bring all the paperwork and I show you what to sign and I notarize where it needs to be notarized, and then I take possession of the documents and go to FedEx or wherever and see that those are properly shipped back to the company that you're dealing with, whether it's J.G. Wentworth, whether it's a refinance company, whether it's just a real estate company out of state. And a big part of that is the notary seal. So it has to have that seal. Now, some states, some things require a raised seal. I don't use a raised seal. West Virginia doesn't require a raised seal. So, but you have to have the stamp. Well, somebody stole mine. So I notified the Secretary of State's office. I called and was put on hold forever. Then when the girl got to me, or the woman got to me, she says, "Oh, you need to speak to so-and-so." And she transferred me, and I went almost immediately into voicemail. And I left a message with that person and said, this is what I need to do. I have to report that my seal has been stolen in transit. And I didn't get a call back within about 10 minutes or so. So I'm digging around on the Secretary of State's website and finally come across a small phrase that says, report your stolen or lost seal. And I hit that and it says you have to report in writing. Then it gives you a link. Well, the link takes you to a page that acts just like a commerce site, just like you're buying something. But there's zero charge. So there's zero charge for reporting a stolen stamp. And so, or lost or stolen. So I'm filling out what I need to fill out on this in the online form. And you have to actually check out. You check out with a zero balance, which is crazy. And you're in the meantime, you've got a link that says, according to state code, you have to report it. It doesn't say whether it's an oral report, like a voicemail or telephone call, or whether it's a written report. And if it's a written report, will an email suffice, or does it have to be on paper with a wet signature, or this online form? Is that okay? So I hit the link that goes to the state code, and the state code just simply says you have to report it. Doesn't say how, doesn't give you any specific language. So I come back to the Secretary of State's page and I complete this purchase, because you got to go through and your cart says you've got something in it and you have to go through. Of course, you're not charged, and it says thank you for your purchase or transact. I think transactions the word it used, and I'm like, this is so dumb. This is just so dumb. So I I went through all that, and then I set up an email where I copied and pasted the 3 different types of language, where it said you had to do it in writing, where it just said you had to report, and the piece from state code that said report. And I said, I have left a voicemail. I'm using this email. I hope it suffices as written. I've completed the online form. If you need a wet signature, please contact me. And I sent it in. So I have lost a lot of cash. I've lost a lot of money because that stamp was stolen. Because I've had about 5 different offers that I could have legitimately taken, that, like, I didn't have a schedule conflict, or the pay wasn't too low, that I should have been able to take, and some of those would have paid me $300 a piece. So in the world of the notary, you can do more with your business than just stamping stuff. And you can charge more. I can charge for the travel. I can charge for the, and it's an administrative fee is what you call it. And it counts a percentage of, the cost of the materials to print. So I've got to have the printer. I've got to have the paper. Some of it's legal. Some of it's standard. It's got to be laser. Can't use inkjet, because inkjet get wet and then it smears and the document's ruined. Plus, the documents that you're working with are generally considered permanent documents. So you've got to have a printer for that. You've got to have some way to fax. And in today's world, it's really a scan and upload instead of a fax. So you need the ability to do that. And you have to travel. So I have to, and a background check. So all these things, you count those are administrative fee costs. You've got to have bonds, and you've got to have, insurance. And you do all of that. So it does cost. So it's not like I'm putting $300 in my pocket. Some places don't like to pay. So I don't accept the assignment if they don't pay enough for me to walk out the door. So I do that in addition to the Airbnb and the B&B. I generally say Airbnb generically, because I have both. I can have direct booking, and I have the Airbnb account. Because I rent a room, the Holstein House, I rent the room through Airbnb here upstairs, our spare room, and I provide a really nice breakfast and coffee. And I have the local company that does their own brewing, so I use them. It's called Coal River Coffee. I use their coffee. I will, for certain guests, direct book guests only, I will hand grind that and fix their coffee with freshly ground Coal River coffee. So that's fun. But I've had that calendar closed. I'll open that up next week. I've got to get the porch rails done. I've got to get the tidying up done, and I've got to get the table set back the way I had it for my guests now that the holidays are over. So yeah, the middle of January as a whole month is kind of a catch up, and I have to Letty Lou's gone, I believe now, but um, she commented that she uh, was going to pick up 6 dozen eggs and some sandwich bread and restock the basement pantry. Something else I do is I'm into sourdough, and if I found out that if I don't make a decent sourdough at least once every couple weeks, I almost forget how. And I tried to do a loaf for communion service the other day, and I burned it. So I ended up having to go up to Walmart and getting some bread for communion service. Um, but I love to do the sourdough. I really love to do it. So I think I'm going to wind it down here now. This was really an impromptu saying hi to everybody and asking about what they're doing this week. I might trim this up a little bit. We are 46 minutes in. I might try to trim it back to about a half hour. There's some stuff in the beginning where I'm kind of rambling. Well, I'm kind of rambling now too, but that's mostly because I am impromptu and unscripted today. I don't even have my list of topics up today. So Valentine's Day will be here before too long, and we have a special for Holstein House for direct book guests only that they'll get some candies, some fresh Halls chocolates. The Halls chocolates are made here in West Virginia, and Coal River coffee, special Coal River coffee for just direct booking. There's no additional charge for our direct book only. It does not work if you use Airbnb. You have to direct book. So you'd go to robinholstein.com and look for the Holstein House. Let's see. Here we go. Yeah. You would go and look for Holstein House bed and breakfast on the menu for Holstein House and read through there, and you're able to direct book from there. So let me see. I'm not seeing. I know that there's folks there. I'm not seeing their comments again, which is a shame. I'm sorry. I was looking. I'm trying to keep up with that, but I'm not seeing it. I know that I know there's a few of you guys looking. You're kind of quiet, and that's fine. That's fine. Better a few watching than none at all. That's good. So I don't know. I doubt, I've got a couple things recorded that I might upload over the weekend. I know I have a few folks over on the Fountain Network where the podcast goes up, where the Holstein House. I've made a mistake. I shouldn't have put the. I should have just used Holstein House, but it's the Holstein House podcast. If you're looking for it, it's on most of the big platforms. I've got a couple things to upload to it over the weekend. There's a couple folks over there that really enjoy having new podcast posts on the weekends, so I'll probably do that. But I understand Monday's Martin Luther King Day. I hope you will take a few minutes to consider the great works that Martin Luther King Jr. did. He was a man like any other man. He wasn't perfect. There was only one perfect man, and that's the Lord Jesus Christ. So, but he did some wonderful work. He really did, and he has the day in his honor. And I believe it's a federal holiday. I think. I know the state has it off. So I encourage you to stop and think of the great work that man did. And just, I mean, like I said, he's a human. He was human, and there are no perfect among us. So he had a few flaws, and every now and again, people who want to be snarky will bring those up. And all I have to say to that is, are you perfect? Are you perfect? And I don't think the man pretended. I don't think Martin Luther King Jr. pretended to be perfect or presented himself as perfect. But the work that he did was awesome. Oh, I've got one of my kittens looking at me. Hello, Abby. Abby wants her breakfast. She was slacking this morning, weren't you? You didn't come in for breakfast, did you? No. She's our orange and white cat. She's a good girl, mostly. She's a good mouser. She'll bring one on the porch every now and again. She's getting up there in age like the rest of us. But that's enough for one day. Kids, enough rambling. I might try to structure something a little better later and put it up. But I did want to say hello to everybody, and I appreciate Letty Lou stopping in and chatting just for a minute and talking about chili. It was great. Chili with beans is fine. Chili with beans is fine, isn't it, baby? It's just fine. So you guys have a good weekend, and I might see you later, but I don't know. We'll see. If you want to, if you want to see something, holler at me. Let me know. I just got somebody said, who is that? Oh, Carla. Hello, Carla. Glad to see you there. If you're wanting to chat, you better hurry because I'm getting ready to go. Getting ready to go. Slacking. But it was unscripted, so I hadn't planned on it. I'm gonna try to do it again Tuesday. I think, see, Tuesday is a good day usually. This past Tuesday, Dad and I had a doctor's appointment in the morning, which threw me all off. Howdy, howdy, howdy. I see you there, Carla. I'm glad to be able to. Sometimes I can't see people from the Facebook. I like Betty White used to say the Facebook, and I like to say that. You getting along all right, Carla? I think there's a little bit of a delay, so we were talking earlier about chili with beans or chili without beans. I'm a bean fan. Letty Lou was in for a little while, and she's a bean fan. Uh, could be venison, could be chicken, could be beef. Never tried pork in my chili. But let's see. I think that's going to be it. I think we're going to wind down. Carla, I'm glad you were able to stick your head in. Just crazy, busy, and achy. This weather is hard on an old lady. Yeah, I'm older than you are, I think. It is tough. I've just been really tired. I really have. I've drank so much more coffee in the last few days, and I'm sure it's the seasonal affected. With the shorter daylight hours, I should increase my vitamin D. I do when I think about it, and then I don't think about it in a good amount of time. Um, I'm glad you're busy because if you're not busy, you're going to get in trouble. Just because we tend to get busy in trouble when we're not busy. I'm not sure how much of a delay we have there, Carla, but I know there's a little bit. I've heard it can be as much as 10 or 15 seconds, so hopefully it's not that much. Oh, let me turn that banner off. I don't need to have that on now. I'm still getting used to StreamYard. I was trying to stream our Bible study Wednesday, and I had something wrong. I don't know what I was doing. It just would not stream, and I don't know if it recorded. I need to go back and check and see how much it recorded. I had trouble with it recording the audio, but a couple people said check. There's a box that you can check that for the audio, and I looked, and it was marked, so it should have been recording the audio, but it didn't appear to be. Oh, let's see. Talking about Magic Jacks, those little phone things. Using Google. I need to locate a better option for faxing. I was using Ring Central, and it just got so cost prohibitive that I just let it go. So my 800 number, I got to get all my business cards redone because, whoops. 10 or 11 o'clock almost. It's a little fast now. It was behind. Crazy clock. 11 o'clock, but it's crazy. So, Carla, I'm going to give a few minutes here, but I'm going to go. I want to make sure you understand that I'm not cutting you off. It was unscripted this morning. I jumped on unscripted, so I didn't give anybody any warning. I'm going to cut it off now. I got to get Dad's INR test here about noon or so, and I've got a few other things to do before I do that. I figure he'll have me go to his house. Usually when the weather's good, he comes over here, which is great because it gets him out of the house a little bit. But I figure he'll want me to come over there today because the weather's kind of stinky, wet and cold and gross. But all right, kids, I'm going to shut her down now. From there, I really appreciate the time. I really appreciate the participation. And I will try to do this again around 10 o'clock on Tuesday. If you want to watch for it, I'm going to check the calendar, make sure there's nothing going on. 10 o'clock is good because if I have guests, then they're supposed to be checked out by 9, which gives me time to make sure they are gone so that I can do a live stream. I should have the calendar for the bed and breakfast open next week again. And we'll get rocking and rolling with that. So I'm going to go. Thanks a lot for your time. It was great, and it was a lot of fun. And we will see you probably on Tuesday. Bye-bye.